Vortex Brands is engaged in two main business operations, Bitcoin mining and green energy. And with me to explain more about the company is CEO Todd Higley. Welcome, Todd. Great to have you on New to the Street.
Thanks for having me.
So give us just an overall view of Vortex Brands. You have the ticker symbol VTXB. It's right on your hat. So thanks for the reminder. Give us an overview of what the company is all about.
Yes, Vortex Brands, we're a technology holding company currently focused in scaling up our Bitcoin mining operation, which provides significant cash flow. And now we intend to use those cash flows toward launching a new industry, electricity recycling. That will essentially it is designed to improve the electric grid, and eventually it'll make Bitcoin mining more environmentally friendly, which is a big concern among the community.
It absolutely is a big concern. I mean, it's one of the things I feel like that's holding back the industry somewhat. Now, so tell me about the Bitcoin mining a little bit. Like, how does that work? How does the operation work?
It is a little complicated, but essentially mining provides the support infrastructure to Bitcoin itself. It secures and records each transaction, and it's done so through a variety. Well, it's a pooling of resources, specialized computers that then share in the profits or in the payouts that are made for providing that service. Mm-hmm. So, I was just going to say that the other thing, this is where there's value derived in the Bitcoin network itself, is the enormous amount of resources and technology and capital that goes into creating this infrastructure that supports the network.
Mm-hmm. So what was it about Bitcoin mining that you felt would be a good business to be in?
Well, essentially, there's great revenues with low expenses. Now, it is very capital intensive, which is why we are a public company. But for example, we're pretty new to this, but we launched our mining operation, September 21st. And with just 10 weeks left in the quarter, we were able to generate $30,000 in revenues and had net proceeds, gross profits essentially, of $24,000. So if you calculate that, that's about an 80% profit margin. And if you look at just our expenses over the operating expenses to acquire Bitcoin, we essentially, over that 10-week period, acquired Bitcoin at an average price of about $22,000. So this is a key point beyond acquiring it at a discount, as we scale up our operations, we'll be able to lower those expenses and lower our costs of what it costs us to acquire each Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So this key point, all Bitcoin miners acquire Bitcoin at a steep discount, and investing in any Bitcoin mining company, if not VTXB, or pick a basket of them, invest in any mining company because it provides a downside protection because of that steep discount.
Yeah.
And the upside is built in, especially relative to the spot price of Bitcoin.
Can we talk about that a little bit more? Like, what is the capital investment to start mining? How are you able to get it? Because Bitcoin right now is around 43, something like that, 43,000. How are you able to get it at 22,000? How does all that work?
Well, I'm just looking relative to the expenses. So yes, there is a large capital investment, but there's a capital investment in any industry that you undertake. If you operate a backhoe, you've got to go buy a backhoe. You've got to provide the labor. You've got to put the gas in it to go do the work. But that's just a capital expense. Most companies are focused on operating expenses, and capital is difficult, but that's where being a public company and as a investor group, everybody's pooling their resources, their capital towards something. Why not direct it towards something that has a high operating margin?
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like once you've made that initial capital investment, the operating expenses are predictable and fairly low. It's like what energy costs and Maintenance.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's equipment maintenance. There's there's the hosting. There's electric costs, and equipment costs continue to rise. Electric costs are scaling up. That's relative to inflation. That's all of these things happen. It's also a supply and demand component. But the important thing is, if you're acquiring at a discount, you've got upside. As Bitcoin, which is designed over time to appreciate, just like any other hard asset, it will appreciate. So, which we can get into, perhaps on another time.
Okay. Well, this is a good introduction to the company. So tell me about VTXB. How are you different than other Bitcoin mining companies?
Well, first of all, we are an early stage company, and being that we're just getting started, that has a certain amount of appeal. Every investor out there is looking for some sort of upside potential, and they often think, we've missed the boat. I wish I would have invested in something sooner. Many people in Bitcoin are saying, I wish I would have bought it when it was 500. Now it's over 40,000, right? And the point is, you haven't missed the boat. Nobody's missed the boat. There's always time to start, and one of the best ways to start is, and it doesn't matter what it is that you're getting, right? It's not just Bitcoin. What about a house? Some other stock company, whatever. There's people always say, I wish I would have. So here's the important thing: because we acquire Bitcoin at a discount, we've got the upside built in. Mm-hmm. Right. You protect it against the downside and the volatility. And as we scale up operations, revenues go up, dividends and payouts go up, all of those things. So here are some of the things that we've done to take it a step further than most companies out there that are in this space. One is that we've just announced a forward stock split, 25-for-1. What that does is puts the stock at an appeal to the widest range, the widest pool of investors. And it positions the stock to behave more like a newly launched crypto. So it kind of mirrors what is of most interest, is the huge upside. The difference between our stock and a crypto is that we have revenue and we pay a dividend. We're not just hoping for some sort of value appreciation over time.
Interesting. And you pay a dividend. So explain that. That's unusual, right?
It's unusual for a stock with our market cap. It's just that, and we just announced this. We just announced a dividend policy, but which is designed to pay out 15% of our gross profit, our net proceeds, as we've defined it. So, really before other expenses are paid out. Yes, the relative operating expenses are paid, but then we share the mining profits back with our investors. Mm-hmm. And so we always plan to do that with our supporters. And we plan to do the same thing as we direct our cash flows toward launching this new electricity recycling industry. We plan to do the same thing, share back with our supporters. Why not share in the growth with those? But then as we scale up, as we attract more investors, as we bring in the capital to do that scaling, it increases revenue, it increases dividends.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to our next interview talking about the green energy part of the company, but the Bitcoin mining is so fascinating. So summarize the company, and where can somebody follow your stock?
Well, we're traded on the OTC markets under VTXB. And really, again, we're an early stage growth company. We're just getting started. Plenty of upside. We've got high hopes because we can acquire Bitcoin, relative to our operating expenses at a discount. That gives plenty of upside, plenty of downside protection. It protects against volatility. It's a good way, in addition to owning Bitcoin, to be in the market and to benefit from where this space continues to grow and move. Mm-hmm. So the stock split just allows, the further upside, that many cryptos have seen after they've launched. They've got this huge upside. So there's all these new companies, there are all these new cryptos that are launching. But the difference is we have revenue, we have revenue, and we pay dividends.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Look forward to hearing more about the company this year, Todd. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Jane.